My name is Evelyn Marie Caldwell, 76 years old, living, or rather, having lived, in a modest 2-story colonial in Asheville, North Carolina, since 1972. The house had been my sanctuary. Wide front porch with a swing Harold and I installed in 1980. A backyard garden where I grew tomatoes and roses every summer. And a living room filled with the things we collected together. Antique oil paintings from estate sales, a set of Limoges porcelain, passed down from my mother, silver candlesticks we bought on our honeymoon in Savannah. Harold passed 7 years ago from a heart attack that came without warning. He left me the house, a small pension, social security, and the quiet knowledge that I had given my life to family. Our only daughter, Rebecca Ann Caldwell, now 48, married to a real estate agent named Derek, mother to 2 grown sons who rarely visit, had always been ambitious. She moved to Charlotte after college, built a life of bigger houses, private schools, and networking dinners. I was proud. I sent money when she needed it for down payments, babysat when the boys were little, never asked for anything back. Family helps family, I used to say. But after Harold died, Rebecca's visits grew shorter, her calls less frequent. She started talking about your future more than mine. Mom, you're alone in that big house. What if you fall? What if the stairs get too much? I'd laugh it off. I've got the walker Harold bought me, and the neighbors check in. Then came the spring of 2025. I had a small stroke. Nothing major, just weakness in my left arm for a few days. The doctor said rest, physical therapy, monitor it. Rebecca flew down immediately, unusual for her. She brought Derek and the boys. They hovered. Mom, this is serious. You can't stay here alone. I protested. I'm fine. I'll hire help if needed. She shook her head. No, we've decided. We're moving you to Willow Grove Assisted Living in Charlotte. It's nice. Private room, activities, medical staff on site. Safer. Closer to us. I stared. Decided? Without me? Derek jumped in. Smooth salesman voice. Evelyn, it's for your own good. We've already put down the deposit. Your house will be sold. Market's hot right now. Proceeds can cover your care for years. My stomach dropped. Sold? That's my home. Harold's and mine. Rebecca touched my arm. Mom, it's just a house. We'll use the money wisely. And the things inside. Your paintings, china. We'll store them for the boys someday. I tried to argue. The doctor said I was competent. But Rebecca had papers. Power of attorney I'd signed years ago after Harold's death. Just in case. She used it. Within a week I was packed. Only a suitcase of clothes, my Bible, a few photos. The house was locked. My pension checks were rerouted to a joint account she controlled. For your expenses, she said. Willow Grove was not nice. It was low-end, faded linoleum halls, fluorescent lights buzzing, meals that tasted like cardboard. My private room was a shared double with a woman who moaned all night. Activities? Bingo twice a week if the staff showed up. I sat in a vinyl chair by the window, watching cars on the highway, feeling the walls close in. Rebecca visited once a month, quick, with excuses. Busy with work. Derek never came. My grandson sent texts. Miss you, Grandma. No visits. Meanwhile, I learned from a kind aide that Rebecca had posted photos online. My house renovated. New kitchen, fresh paint. Perfect for family gatherings. She was using my pension for mortgage payments on their bigger home in Charlotte. My things? In storage, she said. But when I asked for my favorite painting, a small landscape Harold bought me in 1975, she hesitated. It's being appraised. For the boys. I felt the ice grow inside me, Not anger yet, but clarity. She hadn't moved me for safety. She'd moved me to clear the way, to use me up. One night, alone in the dim room, I made a decision. I wasn't going to fade. I was going to fight, quietly, smartly. I started with the aide who liked me, Maria, a single mom working double shifts. She smuggled in a burner phone. Mine had been confiscated for my health. I called an old friend, Victor Lang, an antique dealer in Asheville, who'd bought from me before. "Victor," I whispered into the phone. "I need help. Discreet." He listened. "Evelyn, you okay?" "No, but I will be. Can you come to Charlotte? Appraise some things I have. And sell what I can?" He paused. "You're in a facility?" "Yes. And my daughter thinks everything's hers. But it's not." He chuckled softly. "I'll be there tomorrow." The next day, Victor arrived. Gray suit, briefcase, kind eyes. He posed as my cousin. Maria let him in during visiting hours. We met in the small lounge. I had smuggled a few small items, 2 antique oil paintings, one by a local artist, circa 1890, valued at $4,000, a Limoges porcelain box, $1,200, a silver tea service set, partial, $3,500. Victor examined them carefully. "These are strong pieces," he said. "I can sell them quickly. Private buyers. Cash, no questions. $8,700 total." I nodded. "Do it. And Victor, I have more. In storage at the house. Paintings, porcelain, silver candlesticks. Can you get access?" He smiled. "I know people. Discreet movers. If you give me the key code to the storage unit Rebecca mentioned..." I did. The code she texted me, for emergencies. Victor left with the small items. 2 days later, he wired $8,700 to a new account I'd opened online. My name only, hidden from Rebecca. The ice inside me thawed into fire, quiet, steady. I started planning. The money bought me time, a lawyer, better care, a way out. Rebecca didn't know yet, but she would. The money from Victor's first sale, $8,700 wired to my hidden account, felt like a lifeline thrown into dark water. I checked the balance on the burner phone Maria had slipped me, a cheap flip phone she'd bought at Walmart, paid in cash. It was real. It was mine. No Rebecca, no Derek, no joint account they could monitor. I kept the phone in a small zippered pouch inside my Bible, tucked between the pages of Psalms, where no aide or nurse would look twice. Every evening after lights out, when the hallway quieted and the only sounds were distant beeps from monitors and the occasional cough from the next room, I'd open it under the thin blanket. No calls yet. Just checking the account, reading Victor's brief texts. First 2 paintings sold private, $4,200 net after fees. More soon. Maria became my quiet ally. She was 42, originally from Honduras, working nights at Willow Grove to send money home to her daughter. She hated the place as much as I did. "They cut corners," she whispered one afternoon while helping me to the lounge. "Food budget slashed. Meds late sometimes. But you don't belong here, Mrs. Caldwell." "Call me Evelyn," I told her. "And thank you. For the phone. For listening." She smiled, small, tired. "My abuela was like you. Strong. They tried to put her away too. I fought it. You fight too." I started small rebellions. Refused the bland oatmeal they served. Asked Maria to bring me a yogurt from the staff fridge when no one was looking. Walked the halls more, slowly, with the walker, but purposefully. Mapped the exits. Main door locked with keypad. Side door for deliveries, staff only. Fire exit that alarmed if opened. I noted shift changes. Days busy with activities. nights quieter but more watchful. Victor came again 10 days later. Same cousin story. This time he brought news. The storage unit in Asheville, the one Rebecca had rented after clearing my house, held more than she'd admitted. My full collection, 12 oil paintings, local and southern artists, total appraised $22,000 to $28,000. The complete Limoges service for 12, $9,500. Silver candlesticks and trays, $6,800. A set of antique crystal stemware, $3,200. And Harold's restored mahogany sideboard, a family piece from 1890, $7,500. I can move them discreetly, Victor said in the lounge, voice low. Private collectors mostly. No auctions. Too public. Cash or wire to your account. But we need to be careful. Your daughter checks the unit weekly. I nodded. Do it in batches. Small items first. Leave the big furniture till last. He left with another small painting, a mountain landscape Harold and I bought in Blowing Rock on our 40th anniversary. Sold the next week for $3,800. The money started accumulating. $12,500 by week 3. I used a little to buy better things through Maria. Real coffee from the outside, fresh fruit, a soft blanket for the thin bed. She brought me books from the library, mysteries, memoirs of women who rebuilt late in life. I read under the covers with a book light she'd smuggled in. Rebecca visited on the 4th Sunday. Alone. No Derek. No grandsons. She breezed in wearing a crisp blazer, phone in hand, already checking emails. Mom, how are you settling in? She sat on the edge of the bed like she was in a hurry. Fine, I said. The food's still terrible. She laughed lightly. We'll get you moved to the better wing soon. Higher tier. More activities. I watched her. How's the house? Sold, she said quickly. Closing next month. Great offer. $485,000. After fees and the mortgage payoff, there's plenty for your care here. You're set for years. I felt the ice sharpen. And my things? The paintings? China? In storage. Safe. For the boys when they're older. They'll love the history. I smiled thinly. I'd like my Bible back. The one with the family photos inside. She hesitated. It's packed. I'll bring it next time. She left after 20 minutes. Kiss on the cheek. Promises to call more. I watched her car pull away from the window. That night I texted Victor. Move faster. She's selling the house. He replied. On it. 3 more paintings sold today. $11,000 incoming. And I have a buyer for the sideboard. Private estate sale. $7,500 cash. I added it to the account. Balance now $24,000. I called a lawyer next, using the burner phone. A name Maria gave me. Ellen Whitaker, elder law specialist in Asheville. She took my call on a Saturday. Mrs. Caldwell, I've seen this before. Power of attorney misused, assets drained, placed in substandard care. We can challenge it. File for guardianship reversal or fraud if they're misusing funds. I need to get out, I said, quietly, and keep what's mine. She listened. You have funds now? Yes, hidden. Good. We'll start with a petition to revoke the POA, medical evaluation to prove competency. Then, exit plan. Apartment, home health, we can get you independent. I exhaled. Apartment, small, in Asheville, near friends. She paused. You're strong, Evelyn. Most don't fight back. I'm tired of not fighting. We set a plan. She'd file papers discreetly. I'd get a doctor's note. Independent one, not Willow Grove staff. Victor would liquidate more. The next week was tense. Rebecca called twice, casual check-ins but probing. "How's the room? Eating okay?" I kept answers short. "Fine, missing my garden." She laughed. "We'll plant one at the new place, when you're ready for the higher tier." I didn't tell her I was already planting my escape. Victor sold the silver candlesticks, $6,800, and half the porcelain, $5,000. Account hit $36,000. I wired Ellen $5,000 retainer, quietly. Maria helped me pack a go-bag, clothes, Bible, photos, burner phone. She cried when I told her the plan. "You're getting out. I'm happy for you." I hugged her. "Come visit when I'm free. Bring your daughter." One night, alone, I sat by the window. The highway lights blurred. I thought of Harold, how he'd hold my hand on the porch swing, whispering, "We built this life together. No one takes it." I whispered back to the dark, "I'm taking it back." The papers were filed the next day. Rebecca didn't know yet. But the door was cracking open. The burner phone became my lifeline in the dim glow of Willow Grove. Every night after the 10 p.m. med pass and lights out, I'd slip it from the Bible pouch, check the account balance, and read Victor's updates. By the end of week 6, he'd liquidated another batch, 4 more oil paintings, $14,200 total, the crystal stemware, $3,200, and half the remaining Limoges pieces, $4,800. The account sat at $52,000, enough for a fresh start, lawyer fees, and a few months of independent living. Ellen Whitaker, the elder law attorney, moved fast. She filed the petition to revoke Rebecca's power of attorney quietly, on grounds of misuse of funds, failure to act in my best interest, and placement in substandard care without proper consent or evaluation. She attached affidavits, one from my old primary doctor in Asheville confirming I was mentally competent at the time of the stroke, another from Maria, anonymous but notarized through Ellen, describing neglect at Willow Grove, delayed meds, poor nutrition, isolation. Ellen also got an independent geriatric assessment scheduled. A doctor from outside the facility would evaluate me in person. "Stay low-key," Ellen texted. "Don't tip your daughter off. We need surprise on our side for the hearing." I stayed low-key. I played the part of the compliant resident, attended bingo, smiled at nurses, ate the mushy meals without complaint. But inside I was building. Maria brought me small comforts, a better pillow, herbal tea packets, a notebook where I wrote letters to Harold in the margins, just to feel him close. Rebecca called on a Tuesday, mid-afternoon, when the facility was quiet. "Mom, how are you? The new wing upgrade is almost ready. Better food, private bath. We'll move you soon." I kept my voice even. "That's nice, dear." A pause. "You sound different, calmer." "I've adjusted." She laughed, forced. "Good. Derek's closing the house sale next week. Money's coming in. We'll cover everything here. And the boys say hi. They're busy with college apps." I didn't mention the storage unit. Didn't ask about my things. Just tell them I love them. She hung up satisfied. She thought I was broken. She was wrong. Victor texted that night. "Sideboard sold. $7,500 cash. Last of the small silver tomorrow. Storage unit empty except the big pieces. Leaving those for now. You're at $62,000. What next?" I replied. "Hold the rest. I may need leverage." The geriatric evaluation came on a Thursday. Dr. Patel, a kind woman in her 50s, arrived with a clipboard and gentle questions. She tested memory, cognition, mobility, asked about my daily life before Willow Grove, about the stroke, about my wishes. "I want to go home," I told her, Or somewhere independent. Not here. I can manage with help. Aides a few hours a day. I have funds." She nodded. "You're sharp, Mrs. Caldwell. Physically stable. No reason you can't live independently with support. I'll write it up." The report went to Ellen. The hearing was set for 3 weeks later. In Asheville Superior Court. Not Charlotte. Ellen arranged transport. A medical van. Paid from my account. Rebecca found out the day before the hearing. Ellen's office had to notify her as the POA holder. She called immediately, voice shaking with fury. "Mom, what is this? A petition to revoke my authority? You're filing against me?" I kept my tone calm. "I want my rights back, Rebecca. I'm competent. The doctor says so." She exploded. "This is ridiculous. You had a stroke. You can't live alone. We did this for your safety." "You did this for the house," I said quietly. "For the money. For your mortgage." Silence. Sharp. Stunned. Then, "How dare you? We're your family. We're protecting you." "You locked me away, rerouted my checks, sold my home without asking. That's not protection. That's theft." She started crying. Angry tears. "You're ungrateful. After everything we've done." "You've done nothing but take." I interrupted. "I'm taking it back." She hung up. The hearing was small. Judge in chambers, Ellen beside me in a wheelchair they provided. My walker wasn't enough for the courthouse steps. Rebecca and Derek came. Rebecca in a dark suit, Derek looking uncomfortable in a tie. Ellen presented medical report, bank statements showing pension rerouted, photos Maria had secretly taken of my room, peeling paint, thin mattress, Victor's affidavit about the storage sales, framed as evidence of asset mismanagement. Rebecca's lawyer argued, Mrs. Caldwell's condition requires care. The daughter acted in good faith. The judge, a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes, questioned Rebecca directly. "Did you consult your mother before moving her?" Rebecca hesitated. She was confused after the stroke. "Did you get a second opinion on competency?" "No, but—" "Did you inform her of the house sale?" She was not in a position to decide. The judge looked at me. "Mrs. Caldwell, do you wish to revoke the power of attorney?" "Yes," I said clearly. "I want my independence." The judge ruled in my favor. POA revoked, guardianship denied, my accounts restored. Rebecca ordered to return any misused funds within 30 days. Rebecca stared, face pale. Derek put a hand on her arm. She whispered, "Mom, please." I met her eyes. "You made your choices. Now I make mine." I left the courthouse in the medical van, head high, heart pounding but steady. Ellen smiled in the back seat. "You're free to leave Willow Grove. Today, if you want. I've got apartment listings in Asheville. Small ground floor near downtown. One's available immediately." I nodded. "Let's go home." Maria helped me pack that afternoon. Tears in her eyes, hugs that lingered. "You did it, Evelyn. You got out." I hugged her back. "Thank you for believing I could." I walked out of Willow Grove at dusk, walker in hand, small suitcase rolling behind, Victor waiting in his van with the last of my things he'd salvaged. One painting, the mountain landscape, the Bible, a few photos. The van drove toward Asheville, mountains rising in the distance, air cooler, cleaner. Rebecca texted as we crossed the county line. "Mom, I'm sorry, can we talk?" I didn't reply yet. The door was open now, and I was walking through it. The medical van from Ellen's office picked me up at Willow Grove just after dawn the day after the hearing. I had nothing to pack beyond the small suitcase Maria had helped me prepare. A few changes of clothes, the Bible with family photos tucked inside, Harold's wedding ring on a chain around my neck, and the one painting Victor had held back, The mountain landscape from blowing rock, wrapped in brown paper. Maria stood at the door as I left, tears in her eyes, a quick hug that said everything. "You're free, Evelyn," she whispered. "Don't look back." I didn't. The van pulled away from the faded brick building, past the highway signs pointing toward Charlotte, and turned west toward the Blue Ridge Mountains. Asheville felt like coming home even before we reached it. The air cleaner, the sky wider, the green of the hills rising like old friends. Ellen had arranged a short-term rental, a one-bedroom ground-floor apartment in a small complex near downtown Asheville. Riverview Gardens. No stairs, wide doors, grab bars in the bathroom, installed at her request, and a small patio overlooking a greenbelt with a creek. Monthly rent, $1,450, covered by my restored pension and the first withdrawals from the hidden account. Victor met us there with the van he'd rented for the last salvaged pieces. The mahogany sideboard. He'd held it back. 2 remaining paintings and a box of small treasures. Photo albums, my mother's recipe cards, Harold's pocket watch. He carried them inside while the driver helped me settle. The apartment was simple. Beige walls, laminate floors, a kitchenette with new appliances. But it had windows, real windows, with light pouring in. A small table by the patio door, a couch that didn't smell of institutional cleaner. Victor set the sideboard against the living room wall. "It belongs here," he said. "With you." I ran my hand over the polished wood. Harold's hands had refinished it in 1992. "Thank you, Victor, for everything." He smiled. "You're welcome. And Evelyn, the rest of the funds are in your account, $68,000 total after fees. You're set." He left with a promise to visit soon. I stood alone in the quiet apartment, my quiet apartment, and cried for the first time since the stroke. Not from sadness, from relief. The first week was adjustment. I hired a home health aide through Ellen's recommendation. Lila, a soft-spoken woman in her 30s who came 3 hours a day to help with baths, light cleaning, and grocery runs. I paid her from my account. No middleman, no Rebecca. I started small routines that felt revolutionary. Morning coffee on the patio, with the creek murmuring below. Walks along the greenbelt with my walker, Lila beside me. Trips to the local library for books. I bought plants for the windowsill, ferns, African violets, a small herb garden, basil rosemary. The patio got a folding chair and a bird feeder. Cardinals came first, then chickadees. I named them after old friends. Rebecca tried calling the day after I left Willow Grove. I let it go to voicemail. "Mom? Where are you? They said you checked out. This isn't funny. Call me. We need to talk about the money. The house proceeds are in escrow. But your care." I deleted it. She texted, "Mom, please, I'm worried. Derek says we can get the POA reinstated. It's for your safety." I didn't reply. She showed up 3 days later, unannounced, pounding on the apartment door at 10 a.m. Lila answered while I sat on the couch with a cup of tea. Rebecca pushed past her. "Mom, how did you... This place? Who paid for this?" I set the tea down. "I did. My money. My decision." Her face flushed. "You can't just leave. The doctor said..." "The independent doctor said I'm competent." The judge agreed. She paced the small living room, eyes darting to the sideboard, the paintings on the wall. "Where did these come from? The storage unit. You took things?" "I took what was mine," I said calmly. "Victor helped, discreetly." "Victor? The antique guy? You sold everything behind my back?" "You sold my house behind mine." She stopped. Tears now. Real ones, mixed with panic. "Mom, I thought I was helping. The house was too big. The money was for you. The money was for your mortgage. I interrupted. For your life, not mine. Derek appeared in the doorway, awkward, hands in pockets. Evelyn, let's be reasonable. We can move you back to Charlotte. Better facility. We'll cover... No, I said firmly. I'm home. Asheville. My mountains. Rebecca sank onto the couch. I'm sorry, I was scared. After Dad died, I thought, if I controlled things, you'd be safe. But I took too much. I looked at her. Really looked. The little girl who used to pick roses from my garden, now a woman carrying too much weight. I know you were scared, I said softly. But fear doesn't justify theft or control. She wiped her eyes. What now? Now, you return what's left of my pension. Every penny rerouted. You stop fighting the court order, and you learn to ask instead of take. Derek shifted. We'll wire it back. Next week. Tomorrow. Ellen's voice said from the doorway. She'd arrived quietly, briefcase in hand. Or we file for restitution and fraud charges. Rebecca nodded, defeated. Tomorrow. They left. The apartment felt bigger after they were gone. I sat on the patio that evening, sun dipping behind the ridge, air cool, with the promise of fall. Lila had brought groceries, fresh salmon, asparagus, a bottle of Chardonnay. I cooked dinner for one, simple, slow, savoring. My phone buzzed. Rebecca's text. Transfer sent. $12,400. I'm sorry, Mom. Truly. Can we visit sometime? Without lawyers? I replied after a long minute. When you're ready to listen. Doors open, but on my terms. I set the phone down, watched the stars come out over the mountains. Harold's ring rested warm against my chest. I whispered to the night, We're home, love. Finally home. The creek answered, soft, steady, eternal. The apartment in Asheville became home faster than I expected. The first few weeks were a blur of small victories. Waking up to birdsong instead of fluorescent buzz. Making my own coffee. Strong, black, just like Harold liked it. Walking the green belt path without a nurse hovering. Lila came daily at first, helping with baths, groceries, light chores. But after a month, I told her I could manage most days alone. She still checked in twice a week, more friend than aide now. The money from Victor's sales, final total $78,000 after all fees, gave me breathing room. I paid off the back rent on the apartment, bought a new mattress, firm, orthopedic, and invested the rest conservatively. CDS, a low-risk mutual fund Ellen recommended. My pension checks flowed directly to me again. Rebecca had no choice after the court order. She wired back the $12,400 she'd rerouted, plus an extra $2,000 for the trouble. I accepted it without thanks. It wasn't forgiveness. It was restitution. Rebecca tried calling every few days at first. Voicemails that started pleading. Mom, please let me explain. Moved to defensive. I thought I was doing the right thing. And eventually quieted to something softer. I miss you. The boys miss you. Can we come visit? I let her wait 2 months. Then I texted one line. If you come alone, no Derek, no lawyers. Next Saturday, 2 p.m. She arrived early, alone, carrying a small bouquet of roses, the same pink ones I used to grow, and a bakery box of cinnamon rolls from the little shop downtown Harold and I loved. She looked smaller somehow, makeup light, eyes tired. I opened the door. No hug yet, just, come in. We sat on the patio. The creek murmured below. She handed me the roses. I thought, maybe you could plant them here. I took them. Maybe. Silence stretched. Then she spoke, voice low, cracked. I'm sorry, Mom. truly. I convinced myself it was for you. Safety, money for care. But it was for me. Derek's business was struggling. The house sale. It bailed us out. I used you. I hate who I became. I looked at her. You locked me away like old furniture. You rerouted my life. Tears fell freely now. I know. I see it every day. The boys ask why Grandma doesn't come for holidays. I don't have good answers. Derek and I, we're separated now. Counseling. I'm working on being better. Not for the money. For me. For them. For you. If you'll let me. I exhaled. The roses smelled sweet in my lap. I'm not ready to forgive everything, but I'm ready to try. Slowly. You visit when I invite. No surprises. No demands. And you tell the boys the truth. Age appropriate. That Grandma needed space to live her own life. She nodded. I will. The boys came the next month, alone with Rebecca. They were taller, awkward teenagers now. But their hugs were real. We sat on the patio. I showed them the bird feeder, told stories of Harold and the old house. They listened. No phones. Just family. Fragile, but starting. I planted the roses along the patio edge. They bloomed the next spring, pink against the green. A small reminder that beauty can grow from hard soil. Victor visited often, bringing coffee, helping hang the last paintings. We became friends. He introduced me to a senior walking group, mostly widows and widowers who met at the park every Tuesday. We walked, talked, laughed about old times. One woman, Clara, became a close friend. We gardened together in the community plot. Tomatoes, basil, zinnias. I taught her Harold's trick for staking the vines. My days filled slowly. Library books, porch sitting with tea, occasional drives to Blowing Rock with Victor, church on Sundays where people remembered me from before. I volunteered at the local historical society, sharing stories of Asheville's past. People listened. I felt seen. Rebecca visited monthly. We talked, really talked, about her fears after Harold died, about pressure from Derek, about learning to stand alone. I shared my own. How I'd let her take control because I was grieving, because I didn't want to be a burden. We cried together once, hugged longer the next time. The grandsons came for holidays, Christmas in the apartment, small tree, lights on the patio. They brought gifts, books, a birdhouse they built. I cooked, real food, not facility mush. We laughed. They asked about Harold. I told stories. One evening in late spring, I sat on the patio alone. The roses were in full bloom. The creek sparkled in the fading light, Harold's ring warm against my skin. I whispered to the mountains. We made it, love. Not the way we planned, but we made it. The wind answered soft through the trees. Freedom isn't a big house or a fat account. It's a door you open yourself, a garden you plant, a life you choose. Day by day. Rebecca and I aren't fully mended. Trust takes time. But the door stays cracked open, and every morning I wake up grateful. For the mountains, for the creek, for me.